Hi, this is Giles here from Wolverhampton Audi. Just going to do a quick introduction into the Audi Q2, just go over some of the key features, how to use a lot of the options, and yeah, just a brief introduction into this car. So starting off with the key, let's get the camera on that. So conventional key on this, pretty self-explanatory. 3 buttons, bottom button to unlock, middle button for the boot, top button to lock. Little button there to flip out the key. If you ever do need to change a battery, this section just pries apart. We can set it so if you press and hold the unlock button, all of the windows open. Press and hold the lock button, all the windows close. Likewise, if you press and hold the boot button, the boot will open. This is a brand new car, so there's a few coverings. The new floor mats are in the back there still, top up of oil, first aid kit, etc. To close the boot, that button just there. Now at the minute the whole car's locked and we've unlocked just the boot. Be careful what you do with your key, because as soon as the boot closes, seeing the indicators flash there, it'll actually lock itself. So what I always do is just press unlock and then press the boot button to open. That just ensures that if you do accidentally close it, you don't lock your keys in. Right, so while we're in the back, you've got the dual level boot floor on this. There's 2 handy little bits there that just hold up the boot floor. You've got your inflation kit. Inside there's inflation kit, the solution to sort of squeeze into the tyre if you do have a puncture, and an inflator that plugs into your sort of 12-volt output in the side of the car. So there's a lot of space there. This boot floor you can also drop down to the lower level, so all that stuff's going to drop in. There we go. Try and do that a bit smoother. There we go. So yeah, drops down to that lower level. A couple of hooks on each side. These are really useful for your shopping bags, for your groceries. And you see you've got the top tether points if you do use an ISOFIX seat that requires that. Underneath the boot, actual panel itself, you've got a caution warning triangle. There's a manual release under here if you do need to open the boot from the inside. So that just pulls off. You can see there's a little clip there. Again, that's something you rarely need to use, but if you do open the boot from the inside, that's how you access it. It clips back on there, button to close. On the side you've got the fuel filler cap. So that literally just pushes open if the car's unlocked, of course. This one's a diesel, so you've got 2 filler caps here, one for AdBlue, one for your diesel. So that just sits in there. You've also got a little instruction for the explaining what the AdBlue is. Just push that to close. If I lock the car, that then becomes locked. There we go. In the back, pretty self-explanatory. You've got the electric window controls here. There's a speaker on the door just there. ISOFIX points on both rear seats, so that just pulls out to reveal the ISOFIX points. And all your seat belts. Rear head restraints and map reading light in the back. Let's move on to the front of the car. Oh, actually, I'll just show you. There is a manual key, which you never need to use unless the battery's flat for whatever reason. So again, apologies, brand new car this is, so it has got all the covering still on the seats and on the floor. Protection on the door here. But yeah, here you've got your mirror controls. So 11 o'clock, that adjusts the left hand mirror, 1 o'clock, right hand mirror, etc, etc. And then all you do with this is literally toggle it up and down, left and right to adjust the mirror. That engages the heated mirror controls, and that engages the folding mirrors. 4 window controls there, and then the child locks. And the cool thing with this is, so it isolates the window switches in the back that I just showed you, but it also engages the child lock on the door handle as well. So if that's lit, you can't pull the door open from inside. It's a nice little touch. And then you've got a boot release just there, so that will open the boot from outside the car, or inside the car I should say. Actually, while we're back on the boot, let me just show you this. So if the boot opens a bit too high, you can stop it in your preferred position. Press and hold that button, you'll hear it beep. There we go, the indicators flash. So now next time we open the boot, it will only stop in our new preferred position. If you do want to extend it, just manually push it up and then just choose your new position by pressing and holding. Beeps, indicators flash, and away we go. Back to the front of the car, you've got bonnet release just here. I'll show you onto the bonnet. It's not too much to be worrying about, but best way to remember this is centre of the badge. There's a little lever that pushes to the left hand side, so just feel in there. See that there? Just pushes across. You've got your coolant. That's looked after through service, sealed, so you shouldn't need to be worrying about that. There is oil check there. Oil filler if you do need to put a top up of oil in. Battery. So you've got the positive terminal underneath here. If you do need to jump start someone, negative terminal is just there. Washer fluid. There are some fuses just underneath there. Different bits of componentry and stuff. You just don't really need to be worrying about. The ECU and stuff's all there. This one is a sport model, so has got halogen headlights. If you go for the S-Line model, they've got the LED headlights. Those don't need to be changed, but to be honest, the only reason you're going to open the bonnet is to put your washer fluid in just there. To close, literally just push it down and let it close itself. Right, let's jump in the car and have a look at the controls. So, first one's you got lights. So if you just set that to auto, you shouldn't really need to worry about it, but you can manually override side lights, dip beam. This on the Sport, if you've got halogen lights, not LED, you can adjust the headlight aim. So if you've got a lot of passengers or weight in the car, that just make sure the headlight isn't pointing too high. And the button underneath, that adjusts the brightness of the clocks inside the car. I'm going to close the door, start the engine up, put a bit of aircon on because it's very, very hot today. Let's see what the temperature's saying. I can't find that, I'll find that in a minute. Right, so music's on. So first things first, there's a volume control just there. That switch turns it down. You've also got volume control on the right hand side of the steering wheel. There's a button there to lock and unlock the doors. When the car drives off, it'll automatically lock over 10 miles an hour, so that will appear red. If you want to let someone in from outside, just unlock that by pressing that button just there. So, main controls, indicators, pretty self-explanatory. Headlight, aim, main beam, just put it towards you, you can see the main beam button coming on there. Push it towards the dash, that will engage the full beam. On the right hand side you've got your wipers, automatic wipers on these. If you leave it one click up, so you can see it just points there, that engages automatic wipe. You can then change the intensity or the frequency between the wipes just there. One further click up is constant and then fast. Pull it towards you, and squirt water out the front. Push it towards the back, it squirts water out the back and engages the rear wiper. In the middle you've got your heater controls, so fan speed, temperature on the left hand side and direction of air. Rear window demister is just there, and that recirculates the air. If this button is lit, that means the air conditioning is on, so it blows super cold air. and then just twist that all the way to the left to switch off the system. The top here you've got drive select, we'll come back to that in a moment. That switches off the stop start. You'll notice a little symbol comes on there, so active, deactivated. If it's lit red, it means it's deactivated. It will always default to on, and obviously the stop start, what that will do is when you come to a junction, put your foot on the brake, or if you're in the manual, foot on the clutch, put into neutral, engine will switch off and try and save you a bit of fuel. As soon as you go to pull back off, foot on the clutch if it's a manual, or if you're in auto, simply just take your foot off the brake and the engine will re-engage. Hazard lights are just there. You can turn off the stability control, and again you get a warning in the middle if you do that, and then this switches off the screen. Steering wheel buttons, so we've got these buttons here control what's in the centre, so 5 different tabs along the top. The first one is what I like to say your car information, so what I'm doing here is scrolling up and down with this little button here. Let's go through the different parameters, so telling us how much fuel we've got, how long the car's been driven, average mileage, etc, etc. Under every menu, if you press this button, it will take you into an extended menu. So at the moment you can have different views of that, so you might prefer to have the time prominent and then have your miles per gallon down the bottom. Most people prefer this function here, so digital speedometer, so alongside your annual analog clock I should say, you've got the digital readout which is really clear. So moving on to this button to move it to the next stage, so this tells you if there's anything wrong with the car, let's say. So if your fuel was low, it'd appear in this screen. At the minute it's telling us that stability control is off and fuel level is 40 miles, so let's turn that back on and then it will just say fuel level 40, so that's fine. Next one is your music, so you can scroll through, go for your different radio stations. To select, all you do is just click on this button here, so it's actually just push down. Like I said, there's always an extended menu if you press that, so you then can choose between whether you want to display your FM, DAB, AM, etc, or go through your Bluetooth connected device or the audio player. Next screen is your mobile phone, so this would normally display if your phone was connected, telephone numbers, recent call list or your directory, and the next one is sat nav. So we'll move on to the main screen just here now. So you've got these 4 buttons that toggle through, so navigation, map, radio, click down for media, click down telephone. So let's start off with navigation. So bring up the map, it's a really nice clear map on this. To zoom in and out, all I'm doing is scrolling on the jog wheel. If I click navigation again, it'll say where would you like to go. So the first time we're using this car, so it's going through a tutorial. Let's not show that again. Where would you like to go? Click on there and then literally just scroll through and enter the letters. So let's say we want to go to Birmingham for example. So there we go. Once the destination appears, to scroll down to this, so this bit's important. So this jog wheel, not only does it twist like that and it pushes down to select, but it also moves to the left, to the right, up and down. So to scroll down, we go on that and then just twist to select whichever address we want. So let's say we wanted to go there, push down to OK. Gives you the option, start route guidance, yes.
The route is being calculated.
And then you can notice this has automatically flipped across to the sat nav screen. In a minute,
Contains traffic instructions.
so it's giving us traffic options, real-time traffic, and then the centre is giving us our main direction of travel. So we're on the car park at the moment, so it's just telling us the direction, but normally it would say like take third exit and it'll show you a little icon, third exit at the roundabout, or turn left or right. Okay, so we decided we don't want to go there, so to cancel, all I do is click on navigation, delete destination, yes. So that's pretty self-explanatory, just needs a bit of playing with, but it's quite easy to use. Radio, So you've got a list of your radio stations on here. Now again, if you see a tab to the left or to the right, it means there's an extended menu left or right, and to access that we can just simply push this left or right, or actually use these buttons here. So if we push into that, it tells us we can go through the different sources, that's fine. If I push to the right, got a few different options here. So sound settings, this is where you can adjust the bass, treble and the balance and fader controls of the car. You can store favourite radio stations. Radio text is quite useful, some people like this, so if you click on that it will give you a detailed information of what's actually playing. Program guides, announcement, radio settings, so that's all under that hidden menu. Media, let's wait for the camera to kick back in, there we go. Same again, there's a little tab there to left or right, means an extended menu, so we'll just go across, we could go through our different options. So Bluetooth, auxiliary input, CD, so that's your CD player on this car, and that's hidden in the glove box. So you can see you've got a CD player there. You've also got two SD card inputs. So one is used, that one there is populated, that's got the SD card for the sat-nav system. The other one you can actually put media on too. And then under the armrest you've got another USB input and auxiliary input. And sorry, I say another because there's a USB right at the front there, just where the 12 volt and the cup holders are. So yeah, through media, so we're on media at the moment, we can go through the different options of what you've got connected. And then telephone, just click on telephone. This is the screen you use to connect to your mobile phone. Once it's connected, I won't do that now, but it will show you your directory, recent calls, and again using this same system you can literally scroll through. If there's any additional menus, like I said, using this to push to the left or the right will access those menus. It goes through your options just there. Right, it's taken us to the main menu now. So if I press menu, it's basically all these little tabs. So to keep zooming this in and out, all these little tabs and a nice little graphic there. So we can scroll through. You can see you've got radio, media, go on camera, there we go. Let's go to car. And this goes through the drive select options. I mentioned earlier there's a dedicated button for that, drive select. You can actually scroll through. So comfort, what that will do is the steering will feel a bit lighter and the throttle response is a bit more relaxed. If you go to auto, it will try and adapt to your driving style. Dynamic, you'll feel the steering become a lot more weighted, gives you a bit more of a sporty feel, and the throttle becomes a lot more responsive. Under individual, there's a little tab there, so that means we've got an extended menu. You can actually, you might say, actually I like the dynamic engine, but I prefer the lighter steering, so you can adjust it to taste. Right, so I'm just going to go back a stage. So menu, we went to car, so we clicked on select, we went to car. Now there's a hidden menu here to the left, so we knock this across and that's took us into these settings here. So Audi drive select, we've just seen that. Vehicle settings, so here you can adjust things like time and date. Steering wheel button, so we can actually choose what this little asterisk button does. So let's have a look at the options. So you can have that so it changes between the drive select modes, that's quite cool. So you could say, well, this, click on that and it'll go through dynamic and comfort. Turn off the voice guidance, turn off traffic announcements, etc, etc. So you could customize what that button does. Go back to vehicle settings, exterior lighting, so this will be how the lights act. Entry, exit lights, that means when you open the car up at night, the lights will come on. When you get out, they'll stay on for 20 seconds or 30 seconds, sorry. Central locking, so you can choose how the car unlocks. So at the minute it's set to press one button, unlock, that opens all of the doors and the boot. You can have it so one click on the unlock opens just the driver's door, and then you have to double click to open the whole car. Long press to open windows, that's when I'm saying you press and hold the unlock button to open all the windows, and you can also choose so when you lock the car it folds and mirrors in. Driver assist, this will be things like pre-sense, which I recommend keeping on, but when your car detects there's a imminent collision or an obstacle in front, it will warn you by throwing a warning triangle in the middle there and beeping rather loudly. If you don't take any action from that, it will then jolt the brakes very sharp, and if you still didn't take any action, it will try and administer a full emergency brake. You can choose the intensity of that, so you could put it on so it's an early warning, medium or late, or you can turn the system completely off. I would highly recommend leaving that on. It's very, very good and could get you out of some sticky situations. Servicing and checks, you could check tyre pressure indicators here, reset them if it ever pops up. So just click on that to store. Service intervals and information about the car itself. If you scroll down here, there is a couple of other things I just want to show you. Audi Connect. So let's just go on to that. Accept. So it's the first time we're using this car, so it's going to take a few minutes to load. But what it's going to do is you can look at different things like the current news. So a bit doom and gloom. We can have it actually so it reads out to us.
Police officer stabbed in mid.
You can look at the weather, so just go back a screen, so it tells us how what the weather's like at the moment. These are cool little things here, so you can search local fuel prices. Give you a moment to load. So it tells you the fuel prices in your locality. Again, remember I said if there's a little tab there, there's an extended menu, so we can knock across into their search area and could go through a few different bits. Additional information, sorry. You can actually set your sat nav to start route guidance, and it'll take you to that petrol station about fuel prices. I don't know what that is actually. Okay, some information about that. Let's come out of that. Parking information is also very, very helpful. Can't speak today. So it'll bring up local parking, I was going to say parking stations, what you call them, parking places. Where it says unknown here is some of them, I think because a lot of the shopping centres are still closed. Yeah, it's not bringing any information through. Where it says unknown, some of the shopping, I kind of think what they're called, shopping centres, yeah, they do. Like the Manda Centre, for example, they normally give you a real-time reading of how many spaces are free. If you click on that, it will then tell you the prices as well, which is pretty cool. Opening times, closing time, again the location, phone number. So all of this is hidden under Audi Connect system off the main menu. And then again another two that people find really useful is flight information, train information. Again, probably not so useful at the moment. However, let's say for example you're picking someone up from Birmingham Airport, let's click on that. So arrivals, let's say they were coming in from Belfast, and it'll tell you exactly when the flight is, gives you the flight number, because this is, well, normally this list is massive, but obviously there's not many flights happening. So this is planned for tomorrow morning. If a flight was active, it actually gives you the estimated time, the planned time of arrival, sorry, and the estimated time, which could be sooner or later. So it's a case of just having a good old play about with that, really. So this was all hidden again under menu, Audi Connect. Oh, there's another little thing which I can't show you because I'm filming off my phone, but smartphone interface. You could plug your phone in via the USB lead. If it's an Android phone, you'll have a little symbol come up here, Android Auto. If it's an iPhone, you'll have Apple CarPlay. And basically what this will do is bring through the dedicated app services. So Android Auto, for example, you could use your Google Maps, Spotify, WhatsApp. So that's really cool. It's a good feature to try out. All you need to do is literally plug in your phone with your USB. Final menu settings. This goes into the settings of this actual system, so the brightness of the screen, date and time, system maintenance, etc, etc. Hopefully that's covered off some of the main controls, gives you an insight on how to use the MMI system, which is what we call this little bit here, and the main controls on the screen and the buttons of a Q2. It's very intuitive, very simple to use once you know how to use it, of course. Oh, I just mentioned while we're on the steering wheel, I didn't show you this, because see if the camera can pick it up. Get this angle here. Got a lever here to adjust the steering wheel up and down, in and out. To adjust the seat, just under here there's a lever that pulls the seat forwards and backwards. I jump out the car. Again, this has got the seat covers on, so it's a bit hard to see, but just there. Camera's terrible, but there's a knob to adjust the backrest, and then you've got a lever here to adjust the height of the seat up and down. Thanks for watching. Like I say, I hope that's given you an insight into the Q2. Any questions, we can cover that when we see you. But yeah, look forward to seeing you soon to pick up your new car. Bye bye.